Hi everybody, welcome to Church with Jess Thursday edition. I ran into some technical difficulties yesterday, so couldn't get church posted, but thank you for tuning in today. I appreciate it. I hope everybody's doing well in these chaotic times that we're in right now. I hope everyone's just staying well and continuing to do all the self-work that we've been talking about and just taking care of yourself. So I got a new deck that I'm really excited about. It's called the Earth Warriors Oracle. Here it is. Earth Warriors Oracle. I just was really attracted to it when I saw it, and I could only see the description on the back and some examples of some of the cards, but it basically just said a new world is being born. It is founded upon love and a higher consciousness instead of fear, hate, and greed. This new world is gaining ground, becoming stronger, yet it also needs protectors during this precious and important time of birth. And that just really resonated with me, because I do feel like we're in a spiritual rebirth, as a world, just as a collective unit, and there's a great shift going on. So I thought this deck would be great for gaining some insight on that. And there's definitely a revolution going on right now in the world. There's so many different things going on that hopefully we're taking a step in the right direction. So first, since this is a new deck that I'm introducing to the rotation, and also it's new for me too, I'm still, learning about it and getting used to it. So the introduction there was so many just awesome points that were made that I think were so great, and I definitely want to I highlighted some passages that I really wanted to touch base on. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to talk a little bit about this deck first to begin with. I know that's a little bit different than what we normally do, but I think it's really important. So again, this is the Earth Warriors Oracle. Sorry, I'm covering it. Earth Warriors Oracle. This is the guidebook by Alana Fairchild. So these are her words that I'm just going to be kind of summarizing. So, Earth Warriors are the healers and transformational leaders for a more beautiful world. They destabilize the status quo with their innovative attitude and higher consciousness, defying convention and living from the heart. They're not afraid of change. They embrace it and lead the human race forward to new ways of thinking, being, and living in this world for the greatest good. Earth Warriors seek love as their leader and wisdom as their guide. They question authority and respect only what is shown to be wise and true. They nourish conscious community relationships and envision a hopeful future for all upon the earth, connecting with their soul tribe to bring that vision to life. And we do have to question everything. It's so important. You can't just take things for face value, because anybody can go out there and write anything that they want, and people will believe it, that's why they do it. That's why they continue to do it. So it's just really important to not just accept things for what they are and just question it and do your own research. Definitely be very wary of social media. There's a lot of false information out there. Just do your research. Don't just accept things for what they seem to be. Earth Warriors know what is true in their own hearts, and they refuse to be conditioned by mass consciousness into fear, apathy, complacency, or overwhelm and despair. They have enormous positive energy within and a passionate desire for meaningful contribution and constructive sacred purpose in this world. Earth warriors love our planet with passionate devotion and fierce wisdom, willing to cause a stir for the right cause. The Earth warriors bring truth out of darkness, when others who trade in fear would wish to keep it hidden. Earth warriors are the wise guides showing the way towards our world of the future that is bright and honoring of life. It is so important to not just like push things down and act like they don't exist, because acting like they don't exist doesn't make them go away. And when you're constantly just pushing stuff down, pushing it down, like eventually that, you know, that comes back out. It's best to deal with it as it comes, you know, and accept what is true. These are the new world leaders in the making, the solution creators. They are stirring up beautiful trouble to challenge mainstream views with higher consciousness and healing change, and they hold an important role in love's revolution on our planet. These are the safe hands holding the earth as she goes through a massive paradigm shift into new consciousness. The Earth Warriors Oracle helps you tap into your creative courage and optimism so you can fulfill your sacred purpose, making a real and positive difference in your own life and for the greater good. Sorry, I lost my place. Anyways, revolution, I was talking about earlier, how, you know, there's totally a revolution going right now, and I think it's for the best, and I think that people are tired and fed up with the way things have been, and we feel things shifting, and it's like the time for action. And, you know, hopefully we can keep the steam. I think we can, to just push forward into this new world, a better world for everyone, for the greater good. You know, challenging the mainstream, challenging society and the roles that society has created for all of us. We are these Earth Warriors, this soul tribe of sacred community that honors life, connection, and relationship, refuses to bow down to authority, and instead dares to define and live by what matters most. We recognize that our courage and truth speaking, our way of living and being, create a light by which humanity can find its way into authentic, compassionate, and wise relationship with ourselves and all of life. Because remember, it all starts with ourselves, and that's what I've been teaching you, you know, in the past 12 weeks, is that you have to be willing to do that self-work, because that's where it all begins, with loving yourself. It's the root of it all. The power and ways are given to us to be passed on to others. Fool's Crow, Ceremonial Chief, Teton Sioux. We are all indigenous to this earth. Let me say that again. We are all indigenous to this earth. We are all human beings, part of the human race that inhabits the planet Earth. And it's so crazy. I think it's crazy that, you know, we're so set. We create all these walls and borders and, you know, saying like, oh, well, I don't know. It's just crazy that we can't just be free to roam the world and live where we please. And I know people, some of you might disagree with me, but that's my feelings. That we all inhabit this earth. Like, we're all human beings. Who's to say, you know, oh, this person can do this, but this person can't, or this person can be here, but this person can't. You know, or this person's better than this person because of the color of their skin. Like, it's just, we are all indigenous to the planet Earth. Remember that. Humanity needs the strength, wisdom, and love of those who know how to be uplifted, encouraged, mobilized, and connected, how to be supported by spiritual light and truth, how to fight like wild divine lions for what truly matters, the only things that truly matter, and win. Our light and wisdom must prevail. Our time has come. So if you feel like this is describing you, maybe, then I think you're in the right place. Good for you. Okay, just a little bit more on the introduction of the deck, and we will get into the actual reading shortly. Guardians of the New World. A new world's being born. It is, isn't it? It is founded upon community and wisdom instead of exploitation and short-sightedness, upon love and higher consciousness instead of fear, hate, and greed. This new world is gaining ground, becoming stronger, yet it also needs its protectors during this precious and important time of birth. These protectors are those of us who will ensure that this new world continues to grow, remains true to divine wisdom, and is available for all who wish to leave the old ways behind them. Earth warriors are the protectors, the guardians, guides, and way showers for the new world, and they are here to show its people how to prosper and thrive in harmony with the wisdom of life. You know, we create so many things to distract us, and it has made us in such discord with the wisdom of life, with the harmony of the wisdom in life. There is no harmony. There's discord, and there's been discord for a long time now. And you know, I said it earlier, there's a great shift happening right now. This is the time for great change, and we really should embrace it. There's been so much hate and fear and greed and misuse of power over, you know, these years that have passed, and it's time to just spread love and light and peace into the world, you know, and figure out what our true purpose is, each and every one of us individually, because everything else is just stuff that really doesn't matter at all. It's just distractions. Earth warriors know that a healed relationship between science and spirituality, health and education, and all other disciplines and facets of human existence, working together for the greatest good, is going to help humanity far more than a wounded, fear-based competition for supposed superiority. Earth warriors know that human needs the light of knowledge, education, and unbiased, useful information to be combined with divine love so that knowledge can be used for inspired, helpful, empowered, and loving action in the world. It's talking about balance, really. It's so important to have balance in things. You don't want to be too positive or too negative. You want to have neutrality of mind, because, you know, so you can see the full spectrum. You know, we've been on the very negative side of things lately, and we need to start moving that scale back to the middle and back towards positive. It's really important, you know, it's important to acknowledge your thoughts. I said before, you don't want to suppress things because they just build up inside of you. Acknowledge what you're thinking and feeling, and explore it, and then release it. You know, don't just try to think like, oh, I need to be positive. You need to allow yourself to feel what you're feeling and think what you're thinking, and ask yourself why you're thinking those things and what you can do, what maybe a solution is, so that you can let go of those things. It's really important. Also, it's talking about unbiased information, and it's so hard to find unbiased information out there, especially with, the internet and everything. There's so much information out there, too much information. It's totally manipulated and skewed, and you really have to be careful. You really have to do your research. I really like Facebook and social media, and Instagram is really, Facebook's the worst, at just these memes that go around that people they see them and they say, oh, that's true, and they share it with, however many thousands of other people also, see it and say, oh yeah, that's true, without doing any research or anything of their own. And again, it's so important to just question everything. There's so many things that are just not true that people will believe, and the people that are creating these things know that there's enough people out there that will believe it, and that's how these lies get spread around. So be careful where you're getting your information. That's all I'm saying. Earth warriors have the unusual ability to embrace a multidisciplinary approach. They are able to integrate ideas from many traditions, fields of inquiry, and sources of knowledge, and collaborate to find the wisdom solutions that we can only discover through working together and for the common cause of life itself. Where those in fear may deny difficult truths, the Earth warriors say, okay, this is happening. What are we going to do about it? How can we combine our abilities, knowledge, and skills to do something creative and amazing with this opportunity for healing? They are spiritual, they're practical, they're solution creators, and they willingly invite divine love to assist them every step of the way. So again, we're talking about denying difficult truths, but the Earth Warrior way is to acknowledge these truths, and excuse me, acknowledge the truths without, acknowledge your thoughts, explore them, so that you can release them, I lost my train of thought, sorry. Yeah, it's just again really important to, oftentimes the truth is not what we want to hear, but if we're not hearing the truth, then we're just hearing lies. And if we're happy with lies, then we're not really truly living our lives. We're just living a farce, basically. Yeah, we're just living a farce. So, all right. The Divine Feminine speaks. The fundamental truth that Earth Warriors understand is that nature is generous. To exploit her is not necessary for survival. She gives so much, and when we learn to operate in loving relationship with her as a living, wise mother, Gaia, our needs are met, and we don't destroy the planet with ignorance or greed. We're so provided for. We have everything that we need, and Mother Nature is amazing, and we should appreciate that and love and respect that, and not just mass produce everything, because we are depleting her. And once we deplete her, what's going to happen is everything's going to be made in a test tube. There's not going to be anything natural anymore. We don't need things at our fingertips all the time. We should be eating a diet that is seasonal, we don't, why would you want something that is not in season? It's not at its peak. Like, it's like a watermelon in December. It doesn't taste good. You can get it. It exists, but it doesn't taste good. And it kind of like ruins it for you. And, good things come to those who wait. That's what they say. And it's true. Like, it makes it more special when you've waited for it and you are looking forward to it. But yeah, instead we mass produce everything. We're we're not eating locally sourced ingredients because we want things that aren't in season. We're overproducing meat. If you want to eat meat, that's fine, but we just need to change the way that we're doing things, because the way that we're doing things is creating destruction, which is the opposite of what we want, basically. So that's just what that's talking about. Just, Mother Nature gives us all that we need, and if we take more than we need, and we're greedy and selfish, then we're going to deplete her, and that's it. It sounds like some science fiction, but I feel, there's always like a bit of truth there. So it'll happen if we don't make a change. We have to be willing to make a change. In our modern culture, the word no is sometimes considered inferior to the concept of yes. Don't get me wrong, I am a massive fan of the unimpeded, passionate yes to the universe. However, I understand that in that absolute invitation, we will be given what we need. From time to time, that will include a wisdom that asks for restraint or pause. I believe that each one of us is learning how to honor this in our own personal lives, is a powerful antidote to the dangerous entitlement culture operating in modern humanity. The hallmark of that culture is a belief that if you can do something, then you should do it, and merely wanting something is enough to consider you are owed it, and therefore entitled to take it for yourself. That sort of attitude places power over love and wisdom, and we know what a devastating outcome such a perverse priority causes in ourselves and the world. Disease, destruction, famine, pain, and suffering in endless ways. And we are kind of in those times right now because of the greed and sense of entitlement and abuse of power that we have invoked upon this world over the years. The problem is when you give people power, they tend to abuse it, and get power hungry and become different people. And, it's so tough. It's so tough, because you think, there needs to be people who are kind of creating some sense of order amongst people. But it seems like it's real hard to not abuse that. It is my understanding that the placement of power over love is what separates the human soul from the real, loving, generous, and even, when necessary, restraining, life-honoring wisdom of the divine feminine, both in nature and in our own souls, through dreams and intuitive inner knowledge. That placement of power over love causes disruption in our own soul, and from that, in the world. When we correct the pain in the soul with wisdom, the healed soul becomes the medicine to correct the state of the world. Again, just going within and seeking the answers that you need, because they're all in there already. We get there through healing and through seeking truth and accepting truth. There is so much beauty of creation in this world, so much that is worth protecting and honoring. The ability of love to heal and produce profound transformation is beyond compare. Such genuine and sustained transformation cannot be evoked by power or force, for those things will always evoke resistance, will always be subject to recurring battles for dominance that erupt during moments of weakness in the prevailing order. Yet love is not always quiet. She rallies and she is fierce, and she has anger and courage too. What she also brings is joy. We must remember this so as to nourish ourselves always on this journey of alchemical activism for soul healing in ourselves and the world. We can get rumpled and ruffled as we get amongst it, and yet we can also retain a joyful peace within the depths of our innermost being, a quiet, unassailable certainty that the way of wisdom shall ultimately prevail. And I think like what we're seeing with some of the movements that are happening right now is a lot of love and passion being spread around, which is so great because it's happening all over the world. This has never happened before. The entire world is feeling this and spreading this around. And the media would want you, and the government would want you to see, you know, the opposite side of things, the people that are creating destruction. And there are people there. Unfortunately are people in this world who will take an opportunity like this with the revolution that's going on right now and use it as an opportunity to destroy, you know, and then it looks bad on, you know, the people that are trying to be out there and spread peace and love and joy. But you got to see past that and see, you know, see the real love and peace and passion that is just being, it's like an outpouring of it. And this is what the world needs so much right now. So it's an amazing thing. Claiming your indigenous roots to the Earth Mother. Sometimes the problems of the world and humanity's collective behavior towards each other and the environment can be so profoundly disturbing that the reaction is to switch off from it, to do our best to live our lives and make a difference without really feeling powerful enough or informed enough to know how to even begin to tackle the larger situation at hand. Some people react by denying it is happening at all, which is understandable, but ultimately unnecessary and unhelpful. It's so important to not react, you know, out of anger or fear. Teal Swan the other day was talking about responding as opposed to reacting. You know, reacting is just something, you know, you hear something, you get some information comes at you, and you immediately retort something back without really thinking about it. And somebody might say something that might make you angry or feel angry or fearful, and you will respond with those feelings forward instead of you will react with those feelings forward instead of stepping back and thinking and processing so that you can respond to the situation and maybe respond with a solution or a plan or something that is proactive. So, you know, and also like when you don't acknowledge things and you act like, oh, everything's, you know, whatever, like I'm just gonna keep, you know, going down this road with my blinders on, that's how you become complacent, and you're just living this life that lacks meaning. And I'm not trying to sound like those of us that are on this spiritual path are better than anybody else. People have to do things at their own pace and their own time, but you know, when you do suppress those things, you tend to sorry, I'm moving around a lot. I'm a very antsy person, but your life just becomes kind of mundane, and you're not really, you know, you're not really living your soul's purpose. You're just kind of going through the motions of the life that society wants you to lead. So super important to live a life that, you know, that is aligned with your greater path, I guess. We are at an end point, and of course, those of us on the spiritual path know that endpoints signal birth. It's not a time to give up to hopelessness or despair. You know, an end or a death just signifies, it just means what comes next is a rebirth. And yes, it can be scary when things come to an end, especially because we get so comfortable in our situations, even if they're bad situations. Like, we become comfortable and, again, complacent, and you know, we think like, oh gosh, you know, the end, this is devastating. You know, it's hard for things to come to an end, but just know, like, don't be afraid, because that just means a rebirth, something new and something potentially better. So welcome it instead of, you know, hiding from it or being afraid of it. The purpose of this deck, at a practical level, is to help you feel the level of consciousness necessary to naturally attract the next piece of information, the people, situations, opportunities, education, and experiences that you need to take your next steps. The divine is a very helpful and willing, practical and miraculous teacher. All we need to do is be willing to participate. You just have to be open to receive. Be looking and listening at a spiritual level. There are plenty of ways that each one of us can educate ourselves and others with joy, and we make the pleasurable, energizing discovery that, with divine grace, human ingenuity, and courage, we can not only recover from our mistakes and ignorance, but actually learn how to thrive in harmony with this planet. In doing so, we can generate a positive human legacy rather than a disturbing, destructive footprint. And when I think of footprints, I often think of this image that I saw. I see it floating around, you know, sometimes on social media. But you see like footprints of a duck and footprints of, I don't know, maybe a bear or something like that. And then you see human, and it's just this trail of garbage. And that really, like, it really speaks volumes. It's so true. No other species is creating all of this stuff that we tell ourselves that we have to have. And we have to do better, and we have to be more respectful of our planet. You know, this is our only planet. And it's not just like a giant garbage can. We need to stop treating it like that. We need to stop being so wasteful, be more mindful, think about your actions and how they affect others and how they affect the planet, and think about what you're leaving behind for future generations. That, all of us are going to die one day, and guess what? Like, the world's still going on. It's still spinning. So don't be selfish. You're leaving this behind. Leave behind a legacy. Leave behind a beautiful planet. It is possible. It is possible right now. I really think this is our last chance to get it right. Otherwise, we are going to end up in that, Orwellian world of, test tube, everything. All of our food will be grown in test tubes. Mother Nature will cease to exist if we don't start fixing things right now. This is our chance. This is like the world, the universe is telling us that this is our chance to do this. So let's do it. Let's work together and do our part to clean this place up. Together, we can keep learning and growing, leaning on each other and the divine as we join the light of the new world, leaving the old ways behind us. It is happening now. Again, it is happening, whether you like it or not. Whether you like it or not, it's happening. So you can accept the truth, or you can, live in a lie. It's your choice. We all have free will. Here are the simple instructions for, ignore that. Okay. Those were just notes for myself. Anyways, so we are gonna get into the reading now. So I really struggled. I struggled yesterday when I was doing the initial reading, because church is normally on Wednesdays. Normally I don't wake up knowing what I'm going to talk about. I don't really plan it. I just let it flow through me, whatever the universe wants everyone to know. And usually I meditate before I do a reading. So my meditation yesterday just ended up being a really intense and personal experience that really just, it pertained to me and not to the world. And I do these readings for the collective world. So I was really I don't know. I'm not feeling it. I was talking to my sister, Casey, and I was I don't know what I'm going to do for church. I have nothing. And she told me, she was well, maybe you just need a new approach. And that kind of inspired me, I guess. And I was yeah, maybe that's it. This is a new deck. These are new times that we're going into. And that just got me thinking. It got me thinking about just being out there and just things that I'm seeing on. I talk about social media a lot and how terrible it is, and I know that I am posting this on YouTube because I do think that social media is useful when it's doing what it's meant to do, and if you have a platform to be able to help people in some way or do positive things, then you should use it. And I think in that way social media can be a great thing. But something I've been seeing a lot with both the Black Lives Matters movement and with COVID and this pandemic is just a lot of shaming. People taking information that they hear from whatever source they think is reliable and just repeating it back. Basically, they're being fed information and they're spouting it back out, which is what it's intended, what that information is intended for. And I see basically fear-based shaming from biased sources. And I started thinking about, why do we feed into fear? Why do we believe that fear-based thoughts are truth? And why do we use those thoughts to shame other people? I was trying to understand, why as humans, do we feel the need to use shame as a weapon against other people that we maybe don't agree with? So that's what I was kind of just thinking of going into this reading. So I did a 4-card spread. and it is called, it just says it's for divine healing and spiritual guidance, which I think that we all kind of need right now. So card 1, the question is, what is the most helpful for me to focus upon at this time? And just know, like, when I'm saying me, it's the collective. So just think of yourself. What is most helpful for me to focus upon at this time? So the card that I drew for the first one is Viracocha. Viracocha. Honor the light. In case this is a very meditative deck. Every card that we do is we're going to talk about the card, and then at the end it's going to have like a little meditation or prayer, and then it'll tell you you've completed the healing process. So it's called the healing process at the end. So you're going through, we're talking it through, and then we're healing from it. So please, like, feel free at any time to pause the video and meditate, or however it is that you want to do this, or you can watch the whole thing and then go back and meditate on these things later, however you choose, but feel free to pause. So Viracocha, honor the light. You are a light bearer. Your sole purpose is to redress the presence of darkness on this planet through shining the light. You are meant to do this in the ways that feel most uplifting to you. What brings brightness to your spirit? Do those things. How can you create a loving legacy to remind others of the light? Exploring and expressing the light in ways that remind others to seek the light too is a way to fulfill your divine destiny. Your light is powerful. Use it. There's a lot of people out there who need that light. And like it's saying, your light is powerful. Your light, it shines bright, and the more of us that come together with that light in our hearts, the more powerful and brighter that light is, and we need to shine that over the whole world right now. So that's basically what that's saying. People around you, perhaps even you, can sometimes get caught up in the troubles of the world and forget to focus on the light and their own creative power. I think society, I've talked a lot about this box that society's created, and I have said the box does not exist. It's an illusion. It's an illusion that society's created to mold you into who they want you to be. And so it's easy to get caught up in what's, everything that's going on in society and the pressures of society and the ideas, and kind of forget and lose your focus on what really matters. And that is that, we all have a divine purpose here, and we each have individual unique lessons that we need to learn in order to level up, basically, and eventually reach enlightenment. So I think when we forget that our souls have a purpose, when we get caught up in society, we're not learning those lessons, and we're doomed to or destined, I guess, to just keep repeating it until we eventually do. Gently but persistently remind yourself and others to ask for divine help. This can be done according to each individual's belief system. Prayers will be answered. Focus on the light at specific moments during each day. Place sacred objects in your line of vision so you see them and remember the light often. I think it's really important I'm a very visual person. Vision boards work really great for me. keeping what it's talking about, like keeping things in your line of sight. When you see an image or an object that, creates an image in your mind's eye, and you're constantly seeing it every day, it becomes imprinted in your mind's eye, and you're constantly, it's constantly there, and you're seeing it, and eventually you'll manifest it, and you want to manifest the good. So, surround yourself with those things that make you feel that way. I lost my place. Okay. You are a light worker, light bearer, one who is divinely designed to receive and transmit light for the benefit of humankind and Mother Earth. You have more influence in situations to bring about divine conclusions than you may realize. Don't be afraid to use your light in all ways possible. And I know it can be tough, as a healer and an empath. We often, we have gifts that it's part of why we're here, to bestow them upon other people that need them. And it can be challenging, and we often neglect ourselves, and we forget to care for ourselves, which is important. And we have to, like we talked about before earlier on, is balance. But I think if you have a gift, you have to share it. You have it for a reason, and it's not just to keep it locked up. It's meant it's part of your reason for existence. So use it, and use it wisely. The great creator deity in the pre-Inca tradition from the Andes regions is Viracocha, who is said to have risen from Lake Titicaca. That would just always make me think of Beavis and Butthead and the Great Cornholio, but Lake Titicaca. During the time of darkness, to bring forth light. He made the sun, moon, and the stars. In his wisdom teachings, this reminds us of the importance of creating numerous ways to experience and remember the light, and to reflect it back to ourselves and the world. Creating things in our minds and our world to reflect the divine light is vital. These could be simple altars, sacred spaces, beautiful sacred objects, or it could be the act of burning incense, playing beautiful music, doing a daily practice of meditation and oracle readings, like we're doing now, praying, conscious dance or art, music, medicine. It heals the soul. Those things are so important to do. Just being conscious of the energy that you're putting out there, I guess. And meditation is a really great way to do that. And there are so many different ways of meditating, and it's all personal to you. There's no right way or wrong way. Just, start with 5 minutes. It takes time, and it takes patience, and everything. You can't rush your healing, to quote Trevor Hall again. It's true, do a little at a time, do what you can do, and before you know it, you'll be able to sit longer and longer. And you don't even have to sit. You can go for a walk and meditate. You can meditate while you're driving. Just keep your eyes open. There's just like so many situations where we have opportunities to just be still, and sit with ourselves. And music is and dancing is amazing. Just letting that energy out, and that joy, that beautiful joy. Choose whatever it is that helps you honor the light and reinforces it as an authentic presence within your being. Through regular practice, a radiance will be ignited and its flames fanned within. Our soul becomes a lighthouse to help others find their way. Amplifying the inner light is a way to tap into your creative consciousness. Then, what you generate in this world through your thoughts and actions is what you really want to share. That which increases hope, goodwill, happiness, and peace in this world. It is said that Viracocha made humans by breathing into stones, but his first creation efforts were not pleasing to him. So he destroyed them with a flood and began anew for a better result. The symbolism of this speaks of allowing our creative ideas to evolve. We do not need to be scared to let things fall away, to wash clean and start afresh with our creative intentions. We can do this daily through prayer and other ways to honor and strengthen the inner light of spirit. Don't be afraid to let things go. Whether that's people that no longer serve you, stuff that you're just holding on to that you don't need, a job that no longer serves you. Just don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to look within yourself and find the truth. And, it's not going to be an easy process, but you are capable of anything, really. And you just have to find what is right for you, and that answer lies within you. Nobody should spend their life being miserable in what they're doing. That's not why you're here. Make a change. Like, any of us can make a change if we're willing to put the work in. And know that it's not going to be easy, and we might have to make sacrifices. But at the end of the day, in the long run, it will all be worth it. Amplifying the inner light is a way to tap into your creative consciousness. Then what you generate in this world through your thoughts and actions is what you actually want to share. That which increases hope, goodwill, happiness, and peace in this world. Thoughts are things. It is said that Viracocha made humans by breathing into stones, but his first creation efforts were not pleasing. I realize that I'm reading this again now. Sorry. We do not need to be scared to let things fall away, to wash clean and start afresh with our creative intentions. We can do this daily through prayer and other ways to honor and strengthen the inner light of spirit. For someone like you, with a strong mind and the ability to broadcast thoughts and feelings more clearly than many around you, with a position and purpose of spiritual influence at a soul level, it is essential that you bring your mind and way of being back to the light many times each day. If you get into a dark mood, it doesn't only affect you. It may well bring down many others. Even if you are alone, hiding from the world under a bundle of blankets, your darkness doesn't go unnoticed, unfelt. The more you grow spiritually, the more your own states of being will have an impact in this world. This doesn't mean that you need to fear your own darkness. Rather, when it arises within you, your job is to recognize it and work through it without delay. That's exactly what I was talking about before, and with what Teal Swan had said about the difference between reacting and responding. Everybody, even the most positive people in the world, still have negative thoughts or dark thoughts. And it's really important to acknowledge those things and why you're feeling them and thinking them before releasing them, and then taking in the positive and spreading that positive light back out there. Because, when you're in those dark moments and those dark places in mind, you can also manifest those things. So I think that's why it's so important to just acknowledge it and work it through. This does not mean that you need to fear your own darkness. Rather, when it arises within you, your job is to recognize it and work through it without delay. You minimize the amount of time and grip that you give it in your own soul, and you practice authentically bringing yourself back to the light. There is no magic in this. It's an ability born of practice. The discipline to practice comes from a desire to be in the light. You can choose to be in the light for whatever reason. It could be simply that it feels good or that it connects you to great spirit and you like that feeling. It may be that being happier makes you more attractive and magnetic to what you want to experience, or you want to brighten up someone's day and not darken their mood with your own. You may want to show gratitude to the divine, not discontent, and so forth. The point is that you figure out your best motivations to be in the light, and you practice putting yourself there again and again. It's not saying that, oh, you just need to be positive all the time. Positive, positive, positive. If you're thinking something negative, then stop thinking it immediately and think something positive. And then that's not the case at all. You have to acknowledge the dark thoughts and why you're having them and what it means, and explore how you can heal from that, and remember the things that make you want to be in the light. And help yourself get back to that place. Okay, so this is the healing process that I was telling you, how at the end of each card, and after you've worked through these things, and obviously this isn't something that's just like instantly going to happen, but these are things that you can meditate on daily if they resonate with you. So I'm going to read it to you, and you can write it down, do whatever you need to do. So this is the healing process. Say this prayer aloud. I ask for divine blessing that my creations may be expressions of true spiritual light, bringing assistance to this world. I give thanks for the gift of my creativity and of my ability to feel and know the light. May this light dwell fully alive within me, inspiring my creativity so that I am a source of loving radiance for those in need in this world. May joy always be at home in my heart. Through my own free will, so be it. Then contemplate something that you would like to create, or a feeling that you would like to experience more of in this world. Take a few moments to imagine, visualize, feel, or pretend that you can build a light in your heart that holds all of the good feelings and happy visions around this situation that you wish to bring life into the world. We can manifest our desires, and we often do without even realizing it. I was talking about a vision board earlier, and I learned all about those years ago watching The Secret, and the law of attraction. And I told you I'm a very visual person, so a vision board, it's great to do it at the beginning of a year, the beginning of a quarter, and you can cut things out of magazines, whatever images, things that you desire in your life, that you feel will, make you your best self. You can place those images and put it somewhere where you'll see it every single day, maybe even multiple times a day. And eventually, if you're keeping those things in the forefront of your mind, you'll start slowly kind of seeing those things come to you and for you. Okay, so take a moment to visualize the situation that you wish to bring life into the world. When you are ready, imagine it rising up from your heart and flying towards the light of the sun, where it ignites into divine flame and returns to plant itself in the earth as golden seeds. Feel good about these seeds, knowing that they are strong and healthy and blessed and will grow into maturity, bringing nourishment for the greater good. You have completed the healing process. So the second card, the question for card 2, what is the deeper soul guidance to bring me healing now? What's the deeper soul guidance to bring me healing now? So the card that I drew for that is Amuada, Sage of Higher Knowledge, Amuada. You can see the moon phases there. These are really nice cards. All right, Amuada. So what's the deeper soul guidance to bring the healing that we need now? All right. I'm sorry. Seek what feels true, even beyond the logical. If something doesn't feel right, challenge it and dig deeper. Educate and inform yourself on matters of importance to you. Just like I was talking about before, about educating yourself and seeking what feels true. If it doesn't feel true, then challenge it. Trust that your mind is strong and bright enough to do this. Enhance your self-esteem by researching for information and trusting your intuition to help you discern what is useful and true. Have faith in your own mental abilities. If others have criticized you or made you feel inadequate in understanding, cast that off as belonging to the past and not relevant to you. Not relevant to you now. You will become immune to manipulation by others who may be convincing but not necessarily accurate or helpful. Trust the power of your mind to receive and recognize the answers that you need. You will find your way. Again, just so important not to just take things at face value and to do the research and if you're questioning something, then question it. Like, don't be afraid. Don't let people manipulate you. There are people in this world who literally feed on manipulating the weak-minded. So strengthen your mind and question everything. Don't allow yourself to be manipulated by anybody else's thoughts, feelings, or beliefs. Test all opinions, advice, research, and alleged facts according to your own intuition and instinct. And people can give you advice, but it's only based on their own experiences. It doesn't mean that it is right for you. Take advice with a grain of salt. Select that which is helpful for you and notice that which is best cast aside, even if just for a time. Seek information and assistance from those that you feel can assist you, and yet place no human advisor above the ultimate divine authority, which will guide you on how to proceed through a deep inner knowing. And that's whatever, it's whatever you believe. This is a non-denominational thing. I'm a very spiritual person. I do not affiliate myself with any organized religion, but whatever you practice that's yours, and that's personal to you. So whatever your divine source is, remember that is the ultimate, above any human. And that comes through prayer, through meditation, and just, whatever it is that you do to get to that higher source or to talk to that higher source. There's always new knowledge beyond existing boundaries of thought. We simply need to be open and willing to receive it with patience, discernment, and trust in the greater guiding power. The Oracle of Amuada comes to you with guidance that an answer is coming, an important piece of information, and that when you are centered in your heart, you will recognize that for what it is and know how to proceed. We always need to be aware of, I just really think that the universe kind of operates in signs and symbols, and we have to be open to receive those things, because those are the things that help us along the way and help guide us down the path that we need to go on. There's multiple paths that will lead you to the same destination, but it's what's on those paths that are really like the true tests, and the lessons that we need to learn. So just be patient and be always listening and always having your eyes open to those signs. You'll feel it. You don't have to be constantly like, where's the sign, like constantly seeking it. You'll feel it and you'll know it in your heart and in your gut. So let's just listen. Intuition and instinct are two forms of intelligence, one arising from the heart and the other from the wisdom of the body. These special forms of knowledge are essential for living a wise and authentic life, one that is tuned into the love and truth that flows through our universe. Intuition can help us know without knowing how we know, showing us an accurate bird's eye view of a situation in a sudden flash of insight. Instinct can give us a stark and honest gut feeling about the intentions of another person or the real value of an opportunity. Always listen to your gut feelings, your intuition. I think most of us often question our intuition, but those gut feelings are happening for a reason. Those are signs from the universe, and you have to listen to them. You do not need to have a logical explanation to justify your intuitive and instinctive recognition of falsehood, deception, or other misleading uses of information. These two forms of intelligence are ways of sacred feminine knowing. You're allowed to question things, and you're allowed to have doubts about things, and you're allowed to change your mind. So don't let anybody ever let you think otherwise. You don't owe anybody an explanation for realizing through your intuition, realizing a truth through your intuition. Then there are logic and intellect, which can also be gifts for humanity to use for great effect. Provided that logic and intellect are not used to cut off from sacred feminine knowing, they can play a very helpful role in living a happy and fulfilling life. Finding the correct information in this age, when there's an abundance of information with varying degrees of truth and helpfulness, is an important skill to develop. And that's like I mentioned before, like there's so much information. There's an insane, copious amounts of information out there, and you really have to sift through it to get even a glimmer of truth sometimes. So just be careful out there. We can do this with a combination of logic and intuition. Sometimes intuition and instinct will tell you that a piece of information accepted by others is not actually true for you. That sacred feminine intelligence recognizes truth and is able to guide you as to how to best use it for your noble goals. The oracle of Amuada comes to you with guidance, suggesting that you take your time to inform yourself if you have a decision to make. Trust your instincts and your intuition above and beyond logic or other people's opinions, but make sure that you obtain the information that you feel is most useful to your decision-making process. Everybody has an opinion, like literally everybody has an opinion. Just remember, there's going to be people out there who are constantly judging you or questioning your actions or your motives. And, people, what the kids say, you do you, okay? You do you. Don't let other people's opinions influence your actions. Listen to your instincts and your intuition, and live the truth that you believe in, that is best for you. And only you can know that. And how do you know that? By searching within yourself. Amuada urges you to take care around simply accepting the opinion or point of view of another, even if that person has been a trusted guide for a time or has many credentials. Sometimes your inner knowing shall encourage you to a different course of action. Even if you have a great respect for the person offering their opinion, the universe may simply have other plans for you. People just because somebody has a different opinion than you doesn't make them necessarily a bad person. We're all different, and that's what makes us all so beautiful. And we can have intelligent conversations with each other, but that's important, is to have an intelligent conversation. You create knowledge through education. And ignorance stems from lies, and from not allowing people to find their own truths. So, it's okay to have a different opinion than somebody. And if you have an intelligent conversation about it, like, maybe each of you can see things from a different side and from a different point of view. And maybe that might change your opinion, or maybe it won't. And that's okay too, because again, like, we're all allowed to have our own opinions on things. If you have ever been put down or judged as not being clever enough, or if your intellect has been worshipped and encouraged at the expense of the intuitions of your heart, the Oracle of Amuada comes to you now with a message of healing relief. There are many ways of knowing, and we are all unique in our particular combinations of intellect, instinct, intuition, and insight. You have been created exactly as you were meant to be for sacred purpose. The judgments of others, for better or worse, are meaningless. What matters is that you find your own best way of sensing truth, honoring when something does not feel right, and moving forward when something rings true. And that's so true. And I have talked about this in the past in some of the earlier readings, is that we all serve a unique purpose in this world. And our job, our true job, is to figure out what that is, and just take these lessons that we learn in life and gain knowledge from them in order to continue on the path that we're meant to go down. We each, it's really easy to judge other people based on your own experiences, and just your own beliefs that you have been learned or conditioned from society. It's really easy to judge people, but that's not your job to judge anybody else. It's your job to figure out what your soul's purpose is here. And just remember that everybody has their own story and has to learn their own lessons on this journey that our soul has on this planet. It's really important. Everybody is unique and individual. So this is the healing process. Find a place to relax. Say this prayer aloud. I call upon the grace of unconditional love and the truth of the divine mind to empty and cleanse my mind and emotional body from fixed opinion, half-truths, and deceptions. May I trust and be patient so that I can see and know the highest level of truth available to me. May I give and receive peace, enlightenment, and helpful, accurate communication. May divine light shine bright and help all beings find their way. Through my own free will, so be it. Through our own free will that we all have. Don't allow that to be taken from you. Relax now for as long as you need. Perhaps close your eyes and focus on your breathing for several moments as you allow the power of your prayer to work at a spiritual level and beyond. Allow yourself to become empty and still and go into as deep a relaxation as possible for as long as feels good to you. You have completed your healing process. I like to go into Shavasana, or corpse position, just laying down on my yoga mat and close my eyes and focus on my third eye and just be as still as I can, focus on my breathing. That's a really good process for me. Might work for you too, or maybe there's other things that work for you. Whatever it is that works for you, that's how you can work on the healing process with that card. So card 3. What does my soul want me to know at this time? Remember, we all have our souls all have an individual purpose in this world. So this is saying, what does my soul want me to know at this time? Aina Durga, power of the good. Aina, third eye chakra. Aina Durga. See the tiger? Okay. Power of the good. You need never lose faith in the power of good. You need never lose faith in how much you can accomplish as an independent and inspired individual in this world. You need never believe that you are alone or without divine protection. You need never fear evil. The third eye of the Divine Mother sees all things, is ever watchful and ever just. She births through holy vision the manifest power of good in all realms. Her gaze is upon you now. Trust her. You know, it's that battle of good and evil. It's the constant battle. And ultimately good will prevail. Believe in the power of the divine to keep an eye on things for you. Trust, that could be like our, also like our spirit guides or our guardian angels. The ones that are kind of have our back, basically, that we don't really see, but they're there. Trust that power to alert you when you need to know something or to understand what is happening in your life and what you need, even if you aren't so sure of that yourself at times. And those are those signs and symbols that I'm talking about. You know, often your spirit guide or your guardian angel will give you signs, things that will make sense only to you. So, you know, just constantly be open to receive them. Be active in contesting negativity. The moment you feel something isn't coming from love, acknowledge it immediately. Talking about acknowledging and in order to respond instead of reacting. You don't have to make it about you or analyze it. Use your divine connection to deal with it promptly and effectively. Call for divine support in all things. You will not divert help away from someone else if you ask for it yourself. You know, you're allowed. I think it's something that those of us that are healers and empaths and light workers often have a hard time with asking others for help when we need it, because we're supposed to be the ones that are helping others, or sometimes we maybe feel like our feelings aren't valid, or we're made to feel like that, which again, nobody can make you do anything. You know, we feel what we feel because of whatever reasons, but yeah, sorry, it's okay. It's always okay if you need help yourself. Like, it's always okay to ask for it. And we should always be reaching in on our loved ones as well. Call for divine support in all things. You will not divert help away from somebody else if you ask for it yourself. When you allow yourself to be helped, this empowers your path, which in turn helps all beings. Divine assistance is always there for you unconditionally. If you are not thinking the best thoughts, divine support will correct your thoughts. Never hesitate to call for that support. It is your greatest ally. Give up your attachment to past experiences of rejection and abandonment so that you can open up to how much the divine loves you and can help you. Practice feeling the confidence and unconditional trust in a higher power, knowing it is stronger than all else. You know, those past experiences that we have, those are traumas, and if we never deal with them, we tend to project them and out into our lives. So trauma healing is really important. And I've been doing a program called To Be Magnetic, which has been really amazing, and so many things have come up. And I think it's a great thing for everybody to do. You know, so that you can open up to trusting the divine source, whatever that is for you, and you can talk things through with that source and work through things to get back to the light. And to the you that you were meant to be. So never hesitate to call for that support. It's your greatest ally. Give up your attachment to past experiences of rejection and abandonment so that you can open up to how much the divine loves you and can help you. Practice feeling the confidence and unconditional trust in a higher power, knowing that it is stronger than all else. In the Hindu pantheon of divine beings, Durga shines bright as a powerful warrior goddess and protector of the good and true. She is the unified potency of all divine forces of goodness against negativity and evil, an icon for independence and divine power of the light. Durga is the solar mother who shines light, restores order, and protects the human soul by destroying impurities such as jealousy, hatred, anger, and selfishness. And remember, those are all the emotions and that have gotten us to where we are today, that are really, really highly negative emotions. And those are the emotions that cause people to abuse their power. She is creative, inventive, responsive, and powerful. Once, a particularly adept demon looked like he was getting the upper hand in battle with her, so Durga promptly birthed Kali out of her third eye, or Kali. Kali, the black goddess, ferociously destroyed the demon immediately. Durga is the invincible one. The Sanskrit word Durga means fort, a place that is protected in battle and unable to be overcome. Durga's power animal is the tiger, indicating her unlimited power to protect virtue and destroy evil. She is bright, she is swift, she is unconquerable goodness. When Durga comes into view, you've been fighting against negative energies at some level of your being, whether obviously in the world or more deeply within your soul. So there are negative energies and negative forces that a lot of us have been battling just in the world, and how I've talking about we've been on such the negative side of the spectrum. And then also whatever our personal demons that we're battling are as well, and projecting that out into the world. If you do not acknowledge this, you may fall prey to unnecessary confusion and self-doubt, believing that the issue is solely a psychological matter to deal with. Rather, it is a spiritual issue. And I think that is a lot with what's going on with this pandemic right now, is we're being fed all this information, and so much of it is false or contradicting. You know, we don't want to fall prey to that and to being confused into thinking that it's just a psychological matter to deal with, when rather it is a spiritual issue requiring divine intervention and protection, which is now offered to you. You know, we're in a great shift right now, and I've been talking about how important it is to do all this self-work and just talk to yourself and find out who you are and what your soul's purpose is, because on a deeper level, this is very spiritual. And there needs to be a great change to go along with this shift that's happening in the world right now. And I think it's very possible. It is helpful to remember that evil is not about people, but about the forces that operate through them with ill intent. Remember that abuse of power that I'm talking about, that evil that's working through these humans that are in these positions of power. And we all know who they are. So just be careful. Durga is an inextinguishable light, and she is rising within you now. Her presence reminds you of the light that is divine and true, and therefore cannot ever be subject to any lesser power, such as hate, fear, jealousy, spite, or greed. Those are very low energy frequencies that will just bring you down. You know, love and light and peace and harmony, those exist on much higher frequencies. place again. Here we go. No matter how intimidating an opponent or situation may seem, they are no match for the sacred rage of the divine goddess of light and justice, who vanquishes the evil that haunts their souls and perpetuates distress. You know, we can banish evil. You know, there's always going to be evil energies that try to manifest, I guess, but if we don't allow them and we manifest positive energies instead, those positive energies will literally crush the negative energies. Durga is your ally, your divine weapon, your refuge, and your vital energy for sacred purpose. Do not allow yourself to be intimidated. You can be confident within yourself and go about your work. You need not explain yourself or justify your actions to anyone other than the divine and your own heart. Do not turn away from any obstacle. Believe in the power of the divine to clear the path for you, and the path shall be cleared. You know, remember I talked about different paths that lead to the same destination, but there's certain, you know, if we're open to receive the signs and the symbols that we need, we will be shown the correct path that we need to go down at the correct time. Believe that you are held in the fort of divine light. Let that confidence and trust in the divine goddess of goodness radiate out of you like a shining sun that fills your heart, your mind, and your belly. If your confidence has diminished because of past attacks or encounters with those who are so toxic that they cannot or will not recognize the difference between constructive communication and verbal, emotional, psychic, or physical abuse, then take heart. And those are a lot of those people that I'm talking about that hang out, you know, hiding behind their computer screens, shaming people or trolling or whatever on social media, that just refuse to really open their eyes. They refuse, and, you know, and they are probably on the lowest end of the spectrum, but it is within them because it's within all of us to be able to grow and change and see things differently and see the light, so to speak. They choose not to. So be careful. Those are vultures. Those are the vultures that we have to be aware of in society. You are blessed with divine intervention, protection, and healing. Your confidence and sense of personal and spiritual power shall be fully restored and will actually increase through this experience of healing. You shall discover the peace and confidence that comes from the realization that love can never be conquered. You know, they say love conquers all. You know, and you are going to heal at the rate that you're going to heal at. Nobody can tell you what is right or wrong or how long it's supposed to take, you know, because that is all deeply personal. So this is the healing process, or this will help you in your healing process. Say aloud, unconditionally loving light of Durga. Bless my endeavors and relationships with your divine light and protection. Hold me in the fort of divine goodness, where I am unharmed. Your beauty and truth shine light into any darkness, keeping me safe and blessed in grace. May your divine justice prevail. So be it. Say or sing this chant for as many times as feels good. So it's going to be Om. It's O-M, Om, D-U-M, Doom, D-U-R-G-A-Y-E-I, Dorguye, N-A-M-A-H-A, Namaha. So if you've never done a chant before, it's kind of like Om Doom Dorguye Namaha. I mean, whatever, however you want to say it. That's just what came out of me. Om Doom Dorguye Namaha. Something like that. As many times as you feel, you know, say it out loud. You can say it within, but it's best to like say it out loud and just I thought something was crawling on me. Just put it out there, project it to the divine source. Place your hands firmly on your belly and then on your heart. pause for a moment, then bow your head with your hands in prayer. You have completed the healing process. Okay, so for the final card, card 4. Card 4 says, what is the most helpful guidance for me to receive now to secure my best future? What is the most helpful guidance for me to receive now to secure my best future? So the card is, I love this card, the Circle Cross of Tenon. You see the circle cross? It's kind of on there. Rare intersection of heaven and earth, the Circle Cross of Tenon. The rare intersection of heaven and earth. Your plans and purpose are in alignment with greater cosmic forces, whether you see it coming or not. Things will fall into place, and what you have been working towards will come to fruition. A rare intersection of heaven and earth will result in a precious manifestation of grace. The divine shall correct a situation that is in need of realignment. Fear not, pray boldly, and be faithful. All is well. And things do just often need to run their course. You know, we often we have this need to like control everything. But when we really stop and realize that all we need to do is trust in the divine source that we believe in, trust in the universe, in whatever God you believe in, you know, whatever it is that gives you a sense of purpose in this world, all you need to do is trust in that. And if you trust in that, you won't really have you know, any real fear, because you'll know that eventually everything is going to fall into place. Everything's going to work itself out. Everything just has to run the course that it needs to run. Your soul is a facilitator of sacred union between the spiritual realms and the earthly world. Whether you do this as an artist, a healer, an activist, a priestess or shaman, or in some other way, honor your path and your purpose. Take care of yourself and prioritize your spiritual life according to the practices and methods that help you remain open, connected and grounded with your heart open to Great Spirit and moved by love for our earth. You know, it's really important to take care of yourself. It's something that I have struggled with and that I am still learning. Taking care of yourself is the most important thing, because that is truly the only way that you can take care of other people, and learning to love yourself is the only way that you can truly love other people. I've been really trying to see this time, I call it a time of stillness. You know, and I do have to say, in the very beginning, when all this was going on, I was starting to feed into the fear, and I was going a little crazy, and I kept thinking, like, I was getting sick, or, like, I'd go to the store, and people would get near me, and I would be like, oh my God, like, what are you doing? Like, we're supposed to be 6 feet away from each other. And I had real fear and anxiety, and it was just controlling me. And I had to stop and say, wait a second, you know, this isn't me. This isn't who I am. This isn't what I believe. I'm doing all of these things for myself that I've been doing, that I believe in. And you know, if I don't believe in them, then why am I doing them? And I have to trust in that, and I have to trust in my own beliefs and my own belief system, if it is truly what I believe in, and just let things happen as they will. And you know, I started doing Kundalini yoga. I'm on my third 40-day practice right now. I started juicing. I decided to really focus on my health that I've been neglecting for so long in my body, and just start taking care of myself and watching what I was eating. And then I stumbled upon this ultimate lifestyle transformation that was something that I was calling for, and I was open to receive it, and it just fell right into my lap. And I really thought it was just going to be like a 30-day thing, and like I could do anything for 30 days, and I was just going to kind of like cleanse and detox my body. But what I didn't realize is how much I'd really gain from it, and that I would still want to use the products because I really believe in them and have seen, real results, and just changing my lifestyle, not dieting. I don't really support diets or fad diets of any kind, but just changing the way that I approach my own choices in my own life. If you want to know more about that, actually shoot me a comment, or if you know me personally, just hit me up, and we can chat about that. I would love to chat with you. And if this is something that's resonating with you and you feel like you are looking for a transformation, then I would love to help you with that. So back to the circle cross of tenon, and taking care of yourself. Take care of yourself and prioritize your spiritual life according to the practices and methods that help you remain open, connected, and grounded, with your heart open to Great Spirit and moved by love for our earth. You are part of a team of souls working to keep the balance of light on our planet intact, accessible, and vital. Offer yourself to the divine plan without holding anything back, and know that you shall be helped in countless ways, just as you offer your own will and talent to the sacred purpose of healing this world. It's all about giving and receiving, and when you are giving positive out into the world and healing, that's what you're going to receive back. When you're giving negative and hate and fear and greed and anger, that's what you're going to get back. So be conscious of the things that you're putting out there. And that's why it's so important to acknowledge all of the feelings that we're having instead of holding them in. Because when we hold them in, where they're coming out in different ways, being projected onto the world. And we don't want to do that. There are times when heaven and earth align and the power unleashed is considerable. People rally and situations fall into place. As if by a miracle, patience, persistence, effort, and energy finally come together, and a creation of tangible goodness takes shape in this world. It can be unexpected. You may even have almost given up hope. Then suddenly everything comes together. The circle cross of tenon is a sign of such a happening in your world, a moment of powerful grace where spirit makes its presence felt upon the earth. And I truly, truly believe that this is happening right now. Heaven and earth are aligned, and that power is being unleashed, and we are seeing it all around us. We can feel it, it's happening. Things that we've been calling for are starting to fall into place. We're going to see it more and more as the weeks and months and the rest of this year goes on. The hawk is typically a solar creature thriving in the light, and yet there are some hawks that are able to hunt by night. You, like the rare lunar hawk, are one who is of the light, yet can move through the darkness successfully. You have enough spiritual light within you to be able to see your way through lies and deception and find the truth that you seek. All of this is really just comes down to seeking the truth. We have to be seekers of truth to really find the answers that we need. It's so important to never take anybody else's information as a truth. You have to form your own truths with your own research. What you are seeking is meant to be yours by divine right. Keep up the process of growth and inquiry, and it will come to you at the right moment, according to higher spiritual law, through the operation of spiritual grace. This is deeply personal. You know, this is your journey, and it is yours by divine right. It is your sole purpose. So, you know, allow yourself to grow and keep asking questions, because that's the only way to gain knowledge and growth. The priestess, the one who bridges heaven and earth, dwells within the lunar pyramid of the ancient city of Teotihuacan, known as Tenin, with a circle cross as her guide. She intuitively knows when and how to call for heavenly assistance, as all priestesses do. Part of her role is prayer for those in her spiritual care, invoking divine love and requesting heavenly assistance and grace for all living beings. This is her spiritual responsibility, to keep the channels between heaven and earth not only open, but healthy and robust, active and stable. Why? Because she is capable of doing so. This is your sacred role also. Pray to the unconditionally loving divine source for all events, for all beings. Take active steps to fulfill your destiny and be the living channel for spiritual grace that you are destined to be. Project what you want to see in this world. You can create your own circle cross or gaze at the image below it. This is the circle cross. I also, you can, well, let me read the rest of this. If you wish to create your own, you can do this with small crystals, with rope or scarves, with candles, or by drawing it on paper and creating a sacred piece of art. You may want to dance your circle cross or sing it into being too. So I did one with crystals. Let's see. I'm not sure where. Can you see that? I just used a bunch of different crystals to create the circle cross in my space. I hope you saw that. The circle cross is the symbol of the portal between heaven and earth that exists within your own soul. As you create your circle cross or simply gaze at the image, know that heaven and earth are connecting with each other through your own soul. It's like your soul is a beacon that connects heaven and earth. It's almost kind of like your body being of the earth and your soul being of, you know, the divine. And they come together and they create, you know, that circle cross. Turn to the east or your right and say, through the protective gateway of unconditional love, I invite the power of divine grace into my being and into this world. Turn to the south or turn again to your right and say aloud, through the protective gateway of unconditional love, I invite the power of divine will into my being and into this world. Turn to the west or turn again to your right and say aloud, through the protective gateway of unconditional love, I invite the power of divine healing into my being and into this world. Turn to the north or turn again to your right and say aloud, through the protective gateway of unconditional love, I invite the power of divine presence into my being and into this world. Put your attention on the ground beneath your feet and say aloud, Earth Mother, may all of humanity love, honor, and protect you. Thank you for all that you do for us. You are a Buddha Mother of creativity, generosity, and wild grace. Now put your attention on the sky above your head and say aloud, on behalf of all humanity, I invoke divine love, light, and wisdom for the fulfillment of purpose for all divine beings. May we be assisted through the endless divine resource for the greatest good for all generations. May divine grace evoke love and higher consciousness in all realms. It is done. Place your hands in prayer for a moment. Relax. You have completed the healing process. So that kind of covered all of your, you know, the four corners, the directions, and as above and so below. And that was the healing process for that card. So just to sum up that specific reading that we did. So when we finish the reading, we'll say the following. So after you've, meditated on these, if you're going to meditate on them, which you should, if you've come this far, you want to say, through divine grace, guidance and healing have been given. I trust in the presence of the divine within my own soul to activate and empower my purpose for the greatest good. May joy, fulfillment, and divine will flow through my being now and always. So be it. Place your hands in prayer or on your heart, whatever feels best for you, and simply be in connection with the divine love within you for a few moments. In Kundalini Yoga, we rub our hands vigorously together for a few moments before putting them together in prayer position and to our hearts, because the hands and the arms are an extension of the heart, and it just gets that energy going. So you can choose to do that as well. If you can, take a few extra moments after this process to relax and focus on your breath, meditate or dance, or spend some time in nature if you can, even if only for a short while. Then simply return to your day or evening. So it's just like, taking a moment to just kind of just reflect on everything that we've talked about and how you feel about it. And what you have taken from it, if anything. Hopefully you take something from these lessons every day, these readings, that you can incorporate into your own life. So just kind of whatever you are able to do at this time, whatever time it is that you're watching this, just try to take a few moments to reflect, to meditate, to be in nature, just to be with your thoughts and feelings for a moment. And I hope, I hope that you all are finding this useful. Please shoot me some comments and let me know if what you're thinking, if you're gaining anything from this, if you want me to continue doing it, if you want me to start doing it live, to be able to answer some of your questions. I would love to. If you have questions about anything that I've talked about in any week, please definitely comment, communicate with me, get the communication going. Let's start a conversation. This is so important, this work that we're doing. Let's have a conversation about it. Let's get that going. I guess I'm starting it right now. So I'd love to hear your feedback and get an intelligent conversation going about all of this. And I guess let's stop. Basically, what I asked was just why do we feed into fear, and why do we believe that fear-based thoughts are truth, and why do we use those thoughts to shame other people? And shame is such a negative emotion that we use as a weapon against each other to make people feel inferior to us. And I think what we've learned in this reading, and basically almost every single card was just talking about finding the truth and being a seeker of the truth, and finding the truth that is right for you, and not just taking things at face value, and not feeding into the sources that are creating this fear based on their own greed and hatred and abuse of power. So I think the reason that humans will do this is because they've been manipulated to believe these fears and these lies, and they're being manipulated like drones almost, just to go spread them back around, to spout them back out. What they're fed, they're going to regurgitate back out into the world. And that is fear-based. That is absolutely 100% fear-based. Do your own research, and you won't be so afraid anymore. I leave you with that until next week. I I hope you have a wonderful week, and I hope this is a wonderful journey for you, and that you're glad that I'm incorporating this deck into our rotation now. I will see you guys next week. Take care. Namaste.